welcome back to Napoleon Total War 3. Last time around was an absolute disaster, more or less. The battle went absolutely to hell. Since last time, however, I've gone ahead and ended the turn just as I said I would. And we find ourselves in this current situation. So my spy, I'm gonna move him. I want to see though if I can find Napoleon here. There's quite a few troops. We've got the Swiss right here, thinking about actually closing this gap and having all the French troops rerouted through here by, you know, making the Swiss a vassal of mine. The thing is, there's a rather large army here, plus they've got French allies and so forth. I do have my main army, but a large part of it hasn't really been battle tested. We can see these cavalry units, they have chevrons, but most of the other units don't. We've got a few Frenchmen slipping through here and some cavalry and stuff. I really want kind of a revenge since we did so poorly, but maybe I don't want to take on a larger challenge than last time. I mean, the army is stronger. It cannot actually reach over into Swiss territory, so we're not going to have a battle over there. Given the fact that I sort of really need a lot more troops, I've recruited tons of troops here, as you can see, full of line infantry, cavalry and cannon, and then I've also decided to recruit, or I did earlier, recruit tons of German infantry here, just to bolster my lines, because well, one of the problems we had in my battle is, well, or all over the campaign really, is that I'm outnumbered by my enemies, and I'll need to field full stack armies to be able to fight the enemy properly. With that said, we've got this little troops trying to sneak through, and we've got this army right here, so I think that's an apt battle to play. It's kind of second-rate troops, most of these. We do have these guys, the number 20, which seems to be, well, it's a name unit, and you can only have one of them, so I guess he's good. And the Dragoon unit is also just, you can only have one, so that seems like pretty good. But then we have sort of the reserves and whatnot. No cannons or anything. So I think there's a little bit of a fight. We'll have this one here. Then we'll go ahead and end turn, see what the enemy is up to, and plan accordingly. Maybe what I should have done is not actually or put this as a vassal, because right now, maybe is there an option? I mean, they don't really like me, but I could have them joining wars, and in that way sort of open up this front, although this guy is, well, he's feeble and meager, so I mean, not a great state really. They do have quite a bit of a force, and together we could actually hold. What I could do is I can get these guys to declare war on France. Very unlikely. I'll probably have to pay through my bloody nose to get them to do that. But that would open up this front. The French would push forwards into this region, and together with an Austrian army here, I could let the Württembergers wipe themselves out on the French, and then I would swoop in, kill off the remaining French, and then we could charge on and take this area right here. But right now for this battle, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the troops out of Milan and attack Pierre Colbert out here. And we're gonna smite this smaller French army of 1,000 men while I have 1,500. Hopefully, this will be a little bit of a redeeming battle compared to the last one. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and play this battle, shall we? Right, and so this is the battle. We've got a town to the right, and we've got the French set up in this forest. I don't think we're going to try to fight the French in the forest. That seems like a foolhardy idea. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go towards the town. And sort of neutralize the fact that the French have a superior amount of cavalry. So that is what I'm going to do. So let's go ahead and start. March the troops into town. I'm gonna try to hide the dragoons in this forest over here, and hopefully this will work. Marching on. Some of my troops from Baden-Württemberg. And let's see. It seems as though, well, I am attacking, so it would be proper, of course, for the French not to actually go and try to attack me. I wonder why these guys march faster than my German troops. Why does the Badischen troops march faster? Right, so clearly the enemy is not going to try to attack me towards the town. So we're going to have to go out and meet our enemy. Oh, I was just setting a lot of posts. I didn't see them. Right, so let's march out here then. Gonna spread these guys out a little bit. So they're concentrating their troops in the forest there, but I want to take them. I want to fight them outside the forest. I have voltigeurs. Last time we faced French light infantry, it didn't go too well. Oh, they're staying in the forest, the bastards. They're clever. I do have more infantry than the enemy, though. So we could see about trying to flank them. Right, the Germans will form the straightforward attack towards the enemy, while I'll send the Badischen troops, protected by the cavalry, on a flanking maneuver trying to come through the forest and attack them. Got the general right over here to support the German infantry in their attack. Let's go ahead and speed this up. Get our men in order. So there's a lot of light infantry, so I think what we'll do, rather than send the German troops forward first, we'll try to actually entice the enemy to dislocate their sort of defensive line by having the Badischen troops go in first. Like we see here, so they're sending one unit, possibly all of them, trying to prepare to defend against my Badischen troops moving in towards the flank here. But I could only see one unit moving, and now I can't see anyone. Let's move the cavalry forward a bit. Ready for a charge. Okay, turn to come alongside the forest. Let's speed this up a bit. Okay, enemy cavalry has been spotted. Chasseurs à cheval spread out all over the forest. I can actually listen for the enemy. If I hear trumpets, marching drums. Right, the Badischen troops will form into line and then prepare to advance towards the forest. The German troops are on their way straight towards the forest. Maybe I should have the cavalry circle around, because we will be closing this gap right here. The enemy cavalry is moving. And looks like they're gonna try to move through the gap Tell these guys to hold fire. Oh,
Sir!
the enemy
Sir! Our general is under attack!
is firing from a concealed position in the forest. We're gonna have to advance to face them. And the Bardishan troops need to start marching as well. And the general needs to support his men. Cavalry will advance, so we're taking heavy fire at this point. The enemy has been spotted. Halt and open fire. This unit probably needs to tilt a bit to actually face the enemy. We're suffering heavy casualties, especially the center unit. However, the French are losing tons of men as well, possibly due to team kills from the 18th Regiment. We have a charge. A feint charge by the enemy cavalry. The lines are holding. There's going to be a problem here as these guys collide with each other. Enemy cavalry trying to bypass me on this side. Since this unit is no longer really under fire, I feel safe to form these guys into a square. We're gonna move these guys around to take on these guys. The Bardishan troops will continue their advance. The AI, as per usual, send their troops straight forwards onto my lines and get slaughtered. Okay, they didn't try to attack the square. We're gonna drop the square and move into line. Gonna go ahead and rally this unit. The 18th foot is staying inside the forest, ready to defend against the Bardishan infantry. This one will actually stop here. This one will move to here to flank these guys. I'm surprised that I have not been able to send these voltigeurs off yet, given how much firepower we've put down upon them. Bardishan troops are opening fire, managing to inflict minor casualties on the enemy. The voltigeurs are about to break there, very nice. The Bardishan troops will turn and prepare to face the flank of the 18th. Why on earth are you guys not firing? Start pushing fire into the enemy. These guys will break any second. Cavalry will continue around the forest. And we'll see about completing our attack on that side. Let's get these Bardishan troops quickly into line. Fire on the enemy. There is a risk of the enemy outflanking them, but I don't think the enemy is that clever. Usually they just send the cavalry all around, not really doing that much. Well, I was hoping for a big morale drop on this unit, but at least they're actually moving. Okay, so the enemy cavalry is on the flank there, but not really yet. You know what? Form square, and then this unit will march up to close the distance here. And cavalry versus cavalry. Chasseur à cheval versus my dragoons. And hopefully we caught the enemy at a very bad time and will be able to send them off. Shit, I'm losing a lot of my German troops here. Bardishan troops will hold. They're really close to the enemy right here. hurry into line and open fire on the enemy. Quickly now, quickly now. Enemy cavalry was destroyed with only minor casualties for my heavy cavalry. So really my advantage towards the French is my cavalry, and not really my infantry. Let's see, we have this pretty strong unit. If I could send that forwards and flank, get a charge in on this unit, sending these guys away. Charge! This one will advance, as I don't want it to fire on friendly unit. And then you will turn to face these guys. The voltigeurs are retreating as my troops push forwards. Let's have the cavalry versus the cavalry, and we'll follow up my charge with the rest of my regiments now charging the enemy. And hopefully sending these guys off the field. So we're able to contact with this one. I'm gonna tell my infantry to not what's it called? Guard, have the guard mode enabled. Okay, these guys are about to break. Let's make sure that none of these bastards actually get away from this battle, and that we end them all. Chase down that cavalry unit. So lots of French trying to get away, but most of them are being taken captive right here, or killed. Same with over here. I don't think we had any of the voltigeurs being able to escape there. Seems as though, yeah, the cavalry is not really going to be able to chase on to the enemy there, so we're gonna move them through the forest and set up right there. Infantry moving through. Let's go ahead and speed this up. We've got 15 of the 18th regiment making out of there. None of the voltigeurs, as you can see on the map, none of the voltigeurs actually made it away. We've got 4 of the other light horse unit, and there we go. The other light horse broke, or they actually left the field in formation. So I guess we'll have to chase those guys down. But yeah, not really as spectacular victory as I thought I would try to achieve. We actually lost quite a few of our men against the enemy. Kind of surprised there that the voltigeurs was able to fire from a concealed position. But there we have it. Let's go on to the campaign map, end turn, and see what the enemy has in store for us. Right, and so here we have the statistics of the battle. We lost 350 men, while the enemy lost 810, so more or less their entire army. 140 men were able to get out of there, which was that cavalry unit which left the battlefield. And, well, they left our territory, so it's not that bad. I'm not going to chase them up into the mountains, because we're going to retreat and make sure the Milan does not fall. With that said, let's go ahead and end turn, see what the enemy has in store for us. And then possibly we could see about attacking through here. Or whatever the enemy comes up for us. I need to send someone over here at some point. So I need to send this cavalry unit and throw out whatever navy unit they have here. Because that will open up more trade opportunities for me, so I could trade with Mecklenburg as well and get that extra bit of cash, as it's very much needed at this point. So yeah, let's go ahead and end turn, shall we? Right, so during the end turn here, I have an opportunity to intercept. We have a Swiss unit actually moving in to attack the Tiroler region. Luckily for me, Kutuzov has actually moved his troops into this region and is ready to defend with me, because otherwise I would have been absolutely screwed, only having one Tiroler Scharfschützen, and then the Archduke Johann's Dragoons. Will be interesting to see how we perform against these guys. These look rather good. 35 accuracy is pretty darn high. It's a lot higher than any of our units, and it'll be interesting to see how the Russians conduct the battle against the Swiss. So without further ado, let's play the second battle of this video. And here we have the Russians, Kutuzov himself right here, and the Russian army that was sent to aid us. It was sent quite a while ago, but well, it's finally here. So it's going to be an interesting battle, because I mean, my troops are actually reinforcing Kutuzov, and it's gonna be mostly up to the AI here to fight each other to see who is the strongest. The Russians or the Swiss. So I think without further ado, let's go ahead and start this battle. Oh, so they quickly just reassemble the entire line. Same with the Russians. As soon as we clicked for okay, so the Russians go ahead and amass all their troops together in a big blob right here, which is not good, because the Swiss are actually forming into competent lines. Then they put their artillery and even more infantry down here. So I'm fearing for the security of this battle, and also they put the general up front in this forest, so I'm not entirely sure what they're doing. My cavalry, however, is coming in. There we go. Now I have some units. I need to send them forwards, try to protect Kutuzov, and get my Tiroler Schützen to join in as well. Right, yes. Move towards that way. The Russians. Why? Oh, they have unlimbered the artillery, and they're trying to shoot. And the Swiss are shooting at this formation here. This really thick formation. Thick in two sense of the word. Thick as in thick in the head, but also quite curvy. So the Russians are responding with a little bit of artillery fire, but you can imagine what happens if, I mean, most of the Russian cannons are actually firing it straight into the mountain, while the Swiss will be able to have a field day firing at this. You know what? My general, could he bypass? Go and try to take out that 6-pounder. At least the general has moved back and is now staying behind his army. Riding through here will mean riding through fire and staying... You know what? We're gonna stay on this side of the hill. See about setting up here. Could sweep across there, try to attack them. The really feared Swiss riflemen is something I'm gonna have to keep an eye on, see about taking those guys out. 35 accuracy is the highest of any unit so far. And then also, maybe I should send my cavalry unit over here to try and help out those guys instead. Because if they're hit while they're in such a strange formation, they're gonna get absolutely killed, aren't they? Such a terrible artillery position. Okay, Russian cavalry, Russian guard cavalry is going in, possibly trying to attack the Swiss Jaegers. And then we have a line infantry. At least they've split off the two guard cavalries now. Where's this one going? Oh, it's going to the hussars. They will charge the enemy in the flank, which is good, so they won't run the troops straight into fire, but still they're sending the troops straight forwards into that mess. Let's see if we can't stop the enemy up here, trying to gain a foothold in the forest. The cavalry will continue. Right. They actually got caught on a square. They were able to kill some enemy troops, but it's, I mean, unsupported by infantry. I mean, the infantry is right there. Why are they not moving to aid them? My Jaegers are moving forwards. I'm gonna have to deploy my cavalry and ready a charge. So the Russian cavalry is pulling back after having suffered quite a few casualties here. 64 almost. The Swiss did lose quite a bit of units in this one. But as long as these idiots are just standing there. Right. So these guys haven't actually inflicted a single casualty on my Jaegers just yet. My Tiroli-Schützer. There comes the first one. So even though they have 35 accuracy, they're not really able to inflict that much damage. I will, however, have to hold there and return fire at this point. I'm gonna move in, try to charge these guys. Okay, so what's going on here? Okay, the Hussar unit was actually entirely shot down and team killed by their own Russian unit. No, it's actually an enemy horse unit. And the Pavlovsky Guards headlong charge into the enemy. Maybe I should send my cavalry to support over there instead. They are actually breaking the enemy on that side. The Russians are actually pulling it off.
Sir! Sir! Our general is under attack!
It seemed like a stupid move, but now the Russians are actually sending a massive part of the Swiss forces away. So at first glance it seemed like the Russians were really stupid, but now they lost a lot of the lifeguard grenadiers there, which wasn't very nice. We've got cavalry fight in the forest. That unit was sent off. The Russians are just pushing these guys to hell. So it looks as though we're going to win, even though it happened in a really weird way. Okay, we're not going to charge headlong into a line that's firing at us. So I'm going to pull my cavalry off. And they're actually going to chase me. But are they forming square? No. Okay, the Russian cavalry is coming in. We're going to turn around and we're going to sandwich the enemy. Russian general is here surveying my light infantry as they're firing into the flank of this unit. From skirmish position, we're not seemingly getting that many kills. I'm gonna move them into line and then fire from there. Ah shit, they formed... you know what, we're gonna bypass them. We're gonna go past and go straight for this one, breaking that. And the Swiss were broken. And with that, we're gonna continue with the Russians onto this one. now attacking them in the flank. And hopefully break them. The Russians are even going after the general. And so it looks my units is actually as well. The general is sent off and he's retreating, leaving his troops to fend for himself. And the Jaegers are not noticing my Jaegers are standing in line, really bloody close. Get even closer.
Victory, sir, is soon to be yours.
Nice. Charge after them and destroy them. The Russians charging. They charged just straight through the snow and got all the way to the enemy artillery position. They just charged straight through with everything they've got. Even at this range, firing at the flank of these guys, not really able to do that many, that much damage to them. And possibly we're about to receive fire here. So it might be high time to move into skirmish formation. Got more enemy cavalry or Russian cavalry coming in, ready to
the men are
attack
fatigued,
the
sir,
enemy.
must rest a while.
Return to the field over here. Right, we need to keep being in the flank of this unit. Oh, they break even before the Russians get there. Right, unless we want to miss the fight, we gotta keep Oh, are they gonna shoot at me? No, they're shooting at the cavalry. Hold and fire. Go on then, fire. Damn you! Oh, I forgot to set them on fire. Charge! We've got bayonets, they don't. And we also got cavalry support. And I was about to say that this would be it, but there's another unit over here that we need to take care of. I was worried in the beginning. We're probably gonna see quite high Russian casualties though for this battle. I mean, the Russian infantry didn't stop to fire once. It was really, what do they say? Dura dura stikmalagiet, or however it's pronounced. Oh, my cavalry is so exhausted. They don't even really. They're not even really able to properly charge. So this is why, I mean, there's a lot of people in the beginning of this campaign talking about how, oh, why don't you run your units more? This is why. They're completely exhausted to the point where they're slowly walking into enemy fire. We're gonna try to get into the flank of the enemy, forcing them to reform like they do now. And maybe we'll be able to reach the lines. We do have the Russian Jaegers firing into the flank. Oh, they stopped just as they're about to get to the good bit, where they're able to really cause some damage on my cavalry. I'm no longer able to rally, so I guess the commander of my unit died there. He had died somewhere, although I didn't get a notice for losing the general. But there we have it, a rather strange battle. with the Russians being tricky and just out of nowhere get this supercharge going. They did, however, shoot down all their own cavalry, didn't they? So that massive unit of lifeguard hussars got wiped out, which is going to be quite unfortunate because this Russian army is going to have a very hard time trying to resupply this army. With that said, let's go back and continue the end turn and see what the enemy actually has in store for us besides this Swiss invasion. I guess they're not as neutral as we thought. And so here we have the statistics as well. Kutuzov lost almost 500 men, of which I don't know how many were of ours. The enemy lost almost 1,200 men basically out of their 1,400 men army. And I only get to see these. So my cavalry unit managed to get 300 kills. My Jaegers got 85 with only losing 8, so that was pretty good. It's still during the end turn. We've got Oldensburg and a few others left before I'm able to take a look at what I am going to do. So let's just go ahead and close this down and continue the end turn, shall we? And there we have it. The end turn is over. What I noticed during the end turn is that there are 2 French full stacks here. We've got Napoleon and another guy, so I'm a bit there's a bit of a hesitation to actually attacking the Swiss. However, seeing as though how the Swiss were absolutely stomped by the Russians, I am a little bit more confident in attacking the Swiss here, although they do have a lot better units in their capital. Not so much artillery. We do have a lot better artillery. A lot better line infantry, I think. For most part. Yes, I would say so. Cavalry as well, most likely. Because this has a lot of experienced cavalry units. So, and then this Landwehr, which is absolute shit. So, yeah. Unless they get reinforced by a French army, we should be able to smash them. We've got German reserves and the ports being upgraded. So we're going to send forwards a lot of these German reserves. I'm going to leave 3 in the capital. The rest of them are going to move forward. And we really need them down here in on the Italian campaigns. We're going to move them down here. We're going to get even more in just another turn. Going to get even more troops down here. Also need to see about upgrading the infrastructure down here, roads and so forth, so I'm able to supply my troops a lot better down in this region. 2,000, that's pretty cheap, but I might want to recruit some troops instead. As long as the Russians stay sort of in this region, hopefully they will be able to supply or reinforce any sort of attack that comes either towards Bavaria or Innsbruck. So next time this could possibly very much be an attack. So we'll see how that transpires. I wanna, you know what, now that we have some movement points, I'm gonna get this cavalry just to throw out these guys out of the port and then try to get back in time, which they didn't. But now that port is open. And fort defense, French artillery battery. Huh. What kind of ship is that? Let's go ahead and see. With the new ports open. I mean, I upgraded my ports and so forth. I guess Mecklenburg is... Well, they've got... Yes, I can't trade with them because they're trading with the French. So how about this? Trade embargo for France. I will offer you technology. So technology plus 1,000. That's a lot. But we'll go ahead and agree to it. And then we'll set up trade. That will strengthen our relationship with the other German states and solidify our Austrian supremacy over German lands. So we got a trade route all the way up here. Now the French is probably going to blockade this or attack it, but at least we got that with the Mecklenburgians, or whatever you want to call them. So that's good. So I gained a little bit of cash there, especially since I just recruited tons of troops. We got my fur trade with the Black Sea. So very nice indeed. We're trading. Which ones are we not trading with, which we possibly could trade with? So at this point I'm trading with everyone except Oldenburg, but they're landlocked, so they can't actually trade with me unless I get a border with them. And then the Ottomans. But otherwise I'm actually trading with everyone. I've got lots of alliances and stuff. We're gonna see about extending some of those alliances to include some more German states and whatnot. Let's see who's the most happy towards me. It's actually Portugal. Could see about getting Portugal in. Could be hard though, since Portugal is right next to Spain and Spain is allied with the French. So Portuguese might not want to join. However, the Sardinians, we are allied with the Pope. Napoli, Oldenburg and so forth. So there's a lot here. We could see about striking a deal with the Batavian Republic and start trading with them as well. Get more cash. Well, with that said, I'm going to end the video right here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!